So this morning my 2-year-old came and asked if she could have some chocolate for breakfast. And I laughed and said, no, we're not having chocolate for breakfast. And she said, but Mummy, please, I'm really hungry for chocolate. And I had to laugh because haven't we all been there? So there are lots of different reasons for eating. And I wonder if you've ever asked yourself, why am I eating this? Or, where are you hungry? Because we do eat for lots of different reasons that are not about nourishing our body. And so I'm just going to spend 5 minutes unpacking the different types of hunger and the different triggers for eating with you. So the first one is the obvious, which is our stomach hunger. And if we look at, that rumbling in your tummy when you feel like, okay, I haven't eaten for a while and I'm hungry. So that's the obvious physiological hunger, and that's about nourishing your body. Another hunger is when you get in the cravings or those insatiable appetites, or where you start to feel like you're a little bit lightheaded. That can be a cellular hunger where your body is asking for nutrients. At a cellular level, your nutrient level becomes low or your blood sugar becomes low, and that's a cellular hunger where even if you're not feeling it physically in your stomach, you can start to get these urges or this appetite to eat. So what are some of the other hungers? Because those are the only two physiological hungers, but we do eat for all sorts of reasons, and some of those are sensory. Our senses are responsible for a lot of our appetite. So for example, our taste. Have you ever tasted something and thought, gosh, I want more of that, or thought about the taste of something and then wanted to eat as a result? Of course, most of us have. Our taste buds are definitely a strong driver of appetite. In the same way, our taste is actually strongly connected to our sense of smell. So often smelling something will lead us to want to eat as well. So perhaps you walked past a coffee shop or a bakery or a pizza place or a fish and chip shops and thought suddenly you've developed an appetite for food when you weren't hungry, or you might have only recently eaten, and suddenly you're thinking, oh, I'm hungry for that thing. In the same way, your sight. There's a lot of research that's done on the proximity of food and how having food out or being able to see food will make you more inclined to eat it or eat more of it. So that's definitely going to can be a trigger for eating, is having something in front of you or within arm's reach. So what are some of the other hungers? So that, we've already looked at 5 of the hungers. The 6th common hunger is emotional hunger, and I'd say that's probably the reason why very many people eat, is in order to change their state or to soothe or distract themselves from a feeling, or being uncomfortable or trying to fill a void. They might eat in order to compensate for not feeling so great. A lot of people eat for stress or boredom, or to help themselves feel better. And then the 7th hunger, it relates to mind, your mental state. And so the brain can make us, the state of your brain, whether you're stressed or not, can influence eating, absolutely. But more than that, memories or associations towards foods, or having, knowing something is there, can really kind of invite us or lure us or tempt us to eat. So some people, just knowing that the ice cream is in the fridge, or knowing that there's cookies in the cupboard, is enough to make them want to eat that or develop an appetite for it. And association, so sitting in front of the TV or having an association with eating in certain circumstances can trigger an appetite to eat. So as you can see, those are the common types of hungers that we can experience in our body. But within those, usually there's a trigger. So there will be something that triggers you to eat. It will be triggering one of those different hungers. And usually the common ones are conditioned responses. So those are really what's responsible for that is habits. So for example, if you're in the habit of, as soon as you get home, you pour yourself a glass of wine, for example, that's a conditioned response. So it's not, you're not even thinking about doing it anymore. You're just reacting. And that will again be that mind hunger or the association. As an example of a situational temptation can be being, again, that's usually when the seeing the food or tasting the food, or it's triggering one of those hungers. So for example, going to mum and there's a plate of cookies, or when you're at work and there's morning tea and there's cake or there's biscuits on a plate, or if you're at a friend's house and there's something offered to eat, that can be a situational temptation. Or you go to a buffet, or you go past the McDonald's drive-thru on the way home, or you're in the shopping centre, and as you pass the lollies and you're at the checkout, you triggered I feel like that, or you catch yourself browsing or popping something extra in your shopping cart. So those can be the situational temptations. And then other things that will trigger us to eat, and usually a non-nourishing ways, are personal triggers and motivations. So that can be any number of things, but usually it will be you'll be eating in an attempt to soothe or distract yourself from something, or perhaps you could have a personal trigger that is some people eat in response to stress, or hanging up a phone call if something's upset them, or they've had some sort of conflict, they might be tempted to eat. Or some people have different associations or familial patterns or triggers, and that will cause them to eat in that way. So those are the different influences that will tend to influence our appetite. So what can you do about it? Well, the most important thing to know is that the most important strategy is to increase your awareness, and then to slow down your decision making so that you have more control over your eating. But again, the most important thing is awareness. So I hope you enjoyed those 5 minutes, making you more aware of your reasons for eating. It's Lisa Cutforth, and this is Size Fantastic, www.sizefantastic.com.au.